You deleted the texts. You hid the photos. You even changed the contact name to Do Not Call. But somehow, at 2 in the morning, you're still staring at their Instagram story wondering if that new person in the background means something. Your phone isn't just a device anymore. It's a haunted house, and every room has a memory in it. Welcome back to the X-Files. I'm glad you're here, and if this is your first time joining us, let me give you the 30-second version of what this channel is actually about. We are not a Get Your Ex Back channel. We are not a revenge glow-up channel either, although honestly that tends to happen as a side effect. What we are is something different. Think of us as forensic scientists of the human heart. We perform autopsies on relationships that didn't survive so that you can understand exactly what went wrong, rebuild yourself from the inside out, and create a future that is physically, mentally, and philosophically bulletproof. That is the mission. Season 1 is called The Anatomy of the Aftermath, and we have been walking through the wreckage together one episode at a time. Today is episode 8, and we are calling it The Ghost in the Machine. Before I get into the psychology behind why this matters so much, I want to do a quick recap for anyone catching up. Episode 1 kicked off with what I called the grief paradox, why the people who try hardest to not feel pain end up feeling it the longest. Episode 2 was about identity collapse, the version of yourself you lose when a relationship ends. We have covered the nervous system. We have covered attachment patterns. We have covered the stories we tell ourselves about why it ended. Each episode builds on the last, which is why I always say, watch this series in order if you can. But today stands on its own in a very real way, because even if you have done every piece of inner work available to you, there is an invisible saboteur sitting in your pocket right now that can undo all of it in 45 seconds flat. Let's talk about your phone. Here is something the self-help industry almost never addresses directly. Breakup recovery advice was largely developed before smartphones existed in the form they do today. The classic guidance was simple. Stop calling them. Don't drive past their house. Give yourself space. And that advice was genuinely solid for its era. But we are living in a completely different landscape now. The person you are trying to move on from is potentially accessible to you 24 hours a day. Their face can appear on your screen without warning. A mutual friend's tagged photo, a memory notification from 3 years ago, a suggested post because the algorithm noticed you spent 11 seconds on their profile last Tuesday. Your environment is no longer just your apartment or your car or your office. Your environment is also digital, and most people are treating it like it doesn't count. It absolutely counts. There is a psychological concept I want you to understand today because it changes everything. It's called passive social media monitoring, and researchers have been studying its effects on breakup recovery for over a decade now. Here is what it means in plain language. Passive monitoring is when you watch someone's online activity without directly interacting with them. You are not commenting. You are not messaging. You are just watching. And because it feels passive, because it feels like you are just observing rather than engaging, it feels harmless, maybe even inevitable. Everybody does it, right? But your brain doesn't experience it as harmless. Every time you check on them, your nervous system runs a little threat assessment. Are they okay? Are they happy? Are they already moving on? Are they moving on faster than me? Are they with someone new? Each check-in triggers a small but real stress response. Cortisol spikes. Your attachment system activates. And here is the cruel part. Whether the news you find is good or bad, you lose. If they look like they're struggling, you feel guilt and you stay emotionally entangled. If they look like they're thriving, you feel replaced and the wound reopens. There is no version of the check-in that moves you forward. Researchers have found that people who maintain any form of ongoing surveillance of an ex on social media report significantly higher levels of distress, lower self-esteem, and slower emotional recovery compared to people who cut off digital contact entirely. And I want you to sit with that for a second because it is genuinely counterintuitive. We check because we think it will give us answers. We think it will bring closure. But what it actually does is keep the case open. Every check-in is your brain saying this isn't over yet. There might still be new information. And as long as your brain believes the case is open, healing cannot fully begin. Now here is where I want to be honest with you about something. I know that what I'm about to suggest feels dramatic. It might even feel like giving up, or admitting defeat, or letting them win. I need you to separate those feelings from the practical reality of what we are talking about. This is not about them at all. This is about you taking back control of your own psychological environment. Because right now, your algorithm knows things about your grief that your closest friends don't. It knows which profiles you linger on. It knows what content makes you slow your scroll. It is using that data to keep you engaged, and what keeps you engaged is not necessarily what helps you heal. So let's talk about what I'm calling the digital declutter. This is not just a list of tips. This is a structured reset, and I want you to approach it with the same seriousness you would give any other recovery protocol. Step 1 is the separation layer. Block, mute, or restrict every account associated with your ex, not just their main account. Their secondary accounts, their close friends you follow primarily because of the connection, fan pages they run, anything. The goal is eliminating accidental exposure because accidental exposure is still exposure. I want to be clear about the block specifically. Blocking is not a statement to them. Blocking is a statement to your own nervous system. It is you telling your brain that this particular trigger is off the table. Step 2 is the archive audit. Go through your photos and move everything that is emotionally loaded into a separate folder that is not on your main camera roll. I'm not saying delete everything forever if that feels too absolute right now. But out of sight genuinely does reduce out of mind. When you are scrolling for a photo to send to your mom and you accidentally encounter a memory from a vacation you took together, that is not nostalgia. That is a micro rupture in your recovery. Minimize those encounters. Step 3 is the algorithm reset, and this one is genuinely underrated. Your feed right now is probably curated around your past self, the version of you that was in that relationship. Start actively feeding it new signals. Follow accounts related to what you want to build. Your fitness goals, your intellectual interests, your creative pursuits, things that have nothing to do with that chapter of your life. Engage with that content deliberately. Like it, save it, watch it all the way through. You are essentially retraining the machine to show you a future instead of a past. Step 4 is the notification audit. Turn off memories features on every platform that has them. Disable the year-in-review style notifications. These features are designed to create emotional engagement, and emotional engagement is wonderful when your life is moving forward. When you are in the middle of grief recovery, it is a landmine. Now I want to address the objection I know is forming in some of your minds right now. What about closure? What if I miss something important? What if this is too extreme? Here is my honest answer. Closure does not live in their Instagram grid. You will not find it there. Every time you looked, you already know you didn't find it. Closure is constructed internally, not discovered externally. And the space you create by stepping back from the digital haunting is the exact space where that internal construction can finally happen. We have covered a lot of ground today. The psychology of passive monitoring, why it keeps you stuck even when it feels passive, and the 4-part digital declutter protocol that starts reclaiming your environment and redirecting your algorithm toward growth instead of grief. Coming up in episode 9, we are going to talk about something that doesn't get enough airtime in breakup recovery conversations. We are going to talk about the stories, specifically the story you are telling yourself about who you were in that relationship, because that story is either becoming your prison or your foundation, and we are going to figure out which one it is for you. The X-Files. The past is a classroom, not a cage. I'll see you in the next one.